When was the last time you did Fran?
Um, I remember where I was. I don't remember the last time it was probably 2 years ago.
2 years? What was your time?
I believe I was like 256-ish because I didn't PR.
What's your PR?
So I think my best ever is 246.
Okay. Not bad. I got you on the
It's on
PR.
video. It's on YouTube somewhere if the
Oh,
listeners
this
care
is
to watch
saying
me.
that no, they don't care to watch your shitty movement and partial range of motion for a 246 Fran. I did it today,
Oh, you did it
and
today?
I did it today, and it was brutal. We I like came in, so today's my day off at the gym. So I mean, I do a bunch of work and stuff, but it's like my day off at the gym. So I was like, I'm gonna go train because I'm trying to get back into training because I'm trying not to be a sloth.
You look good. I can see it. You look leaner. You look muscular. That
The
shirt. I think it's just the shirt. Those
Yeah,
shirts.
this is my daughter's shirt, so it looks a little tighter. Yeah, it's so it would fit you perfectly.
It'd be
The
baggy on me.
Yeah, it'd be baggy. So I came in, I was like, God, I don't really want to do this, and I did a bunch of stretching this morning because my knee's been hurting, and then so I was like, all right, here's the deal. I was like, I just want to do, and I say this like loosely, I want to do a casual 3 minutes, right? And when I say casual, I don't mean like I'm smiling during it. I want to do 3 minutes without laying the hammer down.
I get it. That's exactly what I think when I do. That's like word for word what I think.
So I went 304 and I miscounted on 15. So I did 14 and then like came down. I was like, wait, what the fuck
You
number is that?
cheated.
And then I
You
jumped
cheated.
and then I jumped. No. And then I jumped back up there and I did my 15 because I'm a better human being than you. And then I got done at like 3 and then I kind of like walked around a little bit and I was like fine, and then about 6 minutes afterwards is when all the sickness came. Like I was good, I went and got on the bike, I was just like, all right dude, I was like, flush the lactic acid, like get it out,
You're
I think
doing
it's
it.
gonna
I'm
be a
doing it.
I'm, I was like, I'm gonna beat it, I'm gonna win. And then Lindsay came over and stood next to me on the bike and I was like, oh fuck, I think I'm gonna throw up all over this bike. I just like I can't deal with it. And then I had to lay down for a little bit, but I was happy I did 304.
No, I
Like
think
and I'm like I'm pretty out of shape right now, so it's just one of those. So I tell this story because I was having this conversation with a new client who's like 50 and he's been CrossFitting for a while, and he's fit, number one. And he was saying, he's just, God, I just really want to get back to it. And I was like, hey bro, you're 50 and I'd be willing to bet that you're by leaps and bounds the fittest 50-year-old that you know. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that's all you need, bro. I was like, you need to enjoy training again. That's all you need. I don't want it to stress me out. And I don't mean like you're not going to be stressed out right before they try 3, 2, 1, go. I mean, stress me out like I think about it all day. Like I didn't think about this workout all day. I got really stressed out and like, had a little pee dribble in my pants like 3 minutes before we went. But I wasn't stressed about it all day. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get it over with. I'm gonna feel better about it, and then move on. And I'm fitter. I'm as fit as I need to be, right? And that's a conversation that you should have with your clients. But that happened just an hour ago, and I wanted to bring up the fact that I'm better than you, so that we could start
brag. You
there on.
wanted to brag,
Yeah,
but well, let me say a few things. One, yeah, I think anytime you're fit enough to casually throw down a 3-minute Fran, get Lindsay out of there.
yeah.
Get Lindsay out of
She's
there.
ruining the
What?
shot. That was a boob brush. You just did a boob brush on me.
That is sexual harassment.
Sexual
That's
that's
reverse.
sexual
That's
harassment.
reverse sexual
That's
harassment.
sexual
That's
harassment.
reverse
Get out
because
of
she's
here.
the employee.
Get your Jimmy Johns and get out of here.
I know that's not a wrap. I know she got a
No.
bun with that.
We work in two close quarters here. It's tight
She
here at
looks
CrossFit
good.
Life.
Tell her she looks good. She can't hear me, but
She's proud of herself. She's getting abs back and everything.
yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Um,
Um, no, I was gonna say like that's kind of like I say this about like how I look. Like you want to have this idea of like lifestyle lean, like where it's like I pay attention to what I eat, but I'm not overly stressed. And I think the
right.
same can be said about your Fran. Like Fran's a great marker. And the difference between your PR of say 246 in 3 minutes is a world of hurt. So it's amazing how you can have this almost casual embrace of Fran. I mean, I would probably be the same exact way right now. I can finish it in 3 minutes, and it would probably catch up to me. But I was having this. You said this, and I was having this conversation yesterday with one of. I think one thing that I've been doing at the gym that I coach at is really giving them this understanding of what CrossFit is, what it should feel like, scaling appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the members was like, "Well, how good are you at CrossFit?" And I was like, compared to the world, I'm like the 99.9 percentile. And I was like, but
Is that accurate?
yeah, I get based on my math.
You're known for saying really ridiculous
No,
shit.
but think about the world. And it's,
No,
it's
no,
like
I understand the world. I get what you're saying.
I'm in the
What I'm
99th
saying, what
percentile.
I'm saying is that it's an outlandish statement.
But here's my point.
You're
That's
fit.
what
I'll
you
give you that.
But here's what you were saying to your member. Like I mean, if you're saying you're fitter than most 50-year-olds, fact. But just like me in overall fitness, there's levels. So this 50-year-old compared to other of the best 50-year-old CrossFitters, he's like in the 1% there. So it's all about
Yeah,
what
right.
you want, and it's all about what you want in this life. I think it was Pat Sherwood years ago was like, if you can deadlift 315, you don't need more than that.
Yeah, I think I've talked about on the show, like just the things that I want to do when I'm 55. It's like back squat 315, clean and jerk 225, do a muscle up, a sub
You're gonna
4
get your
minute.
first muscle up by
I'm
55,
trying.
you think?
I'm working on it. I've been going through the progressions on the low rings. Do a handful of those things, which to most CrossFitters don't sound, snatch your body weight. That's kind of a big one, I guess. But the to most CrossFitters aren't anything that you should write home about. But if you're 55, you're a freak show.
Are any of your grandparents alive?
No.
That
Wait,
took a long time to end.
I know. I had to think about that for a second. No, they're not actually. Now
You
that
probably have four because your
nope.
parents are still married.
Well, nobody's asked me that in a long time, and I just realized that. Well, so I never met my dad's mom. So his aunt was kind of like my grandma. She passed away about 2, maybe 3 years ago, and then my grandfather passed away before that. So actually, no. Okay, so that is inaccurate. My mom's dad is still alive, but we've never met. So I do technically, I do, but not
Really?
really. Yeah, but
That's
technically,
a whole nother story, huh? We gotta have you on an interview
yeah.
about that.
Well, yeah. Long story short, my dad came from Cuba. They were that's obviously a really rough go of it, and so she essentially left the family, like she abandoned them, and then so she was never part of our lives. But my dad's like, everybody's fine with it. It is what it is. Tragic story, and then everybody moved on. So
Gotcha. Well,
technically yes, but no.
I gotcha. And I've got one. I've had 8 grandparents because my parents are divorced, and
Yeah.
my stepfather's mother's still around, but in an assisted living. But the point I was gonna make is like, I remember my grandfather, and as a kid, I probably would have told you he was like 90, but he was probably like 55, 60.
Yeah.
And we were playing catch one time, and if I didn't throw the ball directly into his mitt, I had to go chase it. Like he couldn't move.
You just had to
So
run over there and put it in his mitt and then run back
yeah,
across so he could throw it to you.
I mean, I don't remember him ever moving. He would, and that goes for almost all of my grandparents. So my point is, I mean, think about how amazing that is at 55. If you can do those things, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, like I said, you're a freak show if you can do that. But here's kind of where I want to go. This is a very roundabout way to get to this topic, but stop, everybody. I mean, no, this is everybody. Stop talking about Facebook ads.
Wait a second.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna bring this back in for you, bro.
Okay. All right. I'm anxious to hear how we get
there's
there.
just so much stuff. Everybody's talking about fucking Facebook ads and like marketing and all this stuff. And I do want to lead this with the fact that marketing is important. You need to learn how to do that. But everybody, and I mean pretty much everybody, is putting the cart way in front of the horse. And where I'm going with this is you're worrying about the wrong things instead of worrying about what we were just talking about, which is taking care of the people that are already in your charge, making sure that they're taken care of, making sure that you're delivering, and not just delivering, but over delivering on what you offer them. If you do that, you won't need to market. right? Now, that's this whole, like, you should still do it anyway, right? So whether you're getting, I don't know, call it 30 whatever leads a month and you're doing nothing, you should still figure out what marketing means to you. So there's marketing and advertising, and you should quasi learn how to do both. Like, running a business without knowing how to do those is just foolish. You should not do that. But it should be like, that should be like icing on the cake. Like, you should use that to drive like continuous new flow. But what I see is people are running ads and doing a lot of other things, and people are just falling out of the bottom. So I have to do $6,000 of new sales every month in order to account for the attrition rate that I have. And that's ridiculous. You don't need 20 new clients a month. If you just added 5 a month and kept your attrition super low, like, let's call it less than 1%. Most people are like looking for 3% churn. If and some of that stuff is out of your control, but let's say you had 100 members, right? 3% each month, 1% each month would be 1 person leaving every month. 3%, 3 people leaving every month. And if you're bringing in 5 a month, right? For the most part, you're going to net something to the tune of 30 new people a year, right? 30 times whatever that, 30 times, let's call it 200. So you're looking at $6,000 increase in revenue monthly.
No, 60,000. Yeah.
Monthly, right? So roughly $72,000 annually a year. You do that year over year for 3 years. You're talking about, in 36 months, increasing by somewhere to the tune of $200,000 to $250,000. And this is just straight line sales. This isn't upsells. This isn't anything else. This is just doing a good job with the people that you have. They will start bringing other people, and you won't have to do anything other than just deliver. And that's where I want people to refocus, is like, what could you be doing? Right. So here's one for everybody. 16 and 8. Those are the only 2 numbers you need to know.
That is your intermittent fasting window?
Maybe, but wasn't going there. 16 and 8. My folks that are going to be committed, like pot committed for a long time, 16 plus times a month. Right? My folks that are getting ready to leave, that's their attendance. My folks that are getting ready to leave, 8 or less on average. Some of them are on vacation, but those are the 2 numbers that you should be looking at, 16 and 8. Figure out how to keep those 16 super duper happy, and then figure out why the 8s aren't there 16.
Well, I was going to say, or try to bump those 8s up, right?
Yeah, no, that's my point. But you need to catch them early and figure out, and going back to what I said, is the nurturing and feeding of the people that are already in your care, instead of worrying about getting new clients. Now, you have to do 2 things. You have to do two things simultaneously here, but you're going to have to bring on new people, obviously, if I'm assuming somebody wants your service. But really, the name of the game is retention. Keep people. Then you don't have to bring on a ton of new people every year.
There's that expression, when it costs twice as much to get a new member as it does to keep an old one.
Yeah, way more than that. Like, it costs you, realistically, what's it going to cost you to keep an old member? 35 cents on a postage.
Yeah, just good coaching
for postage for their birthday that month, and send them a card in the mail.
You and I have worked with dozens, if not hundreds, of boxes, and it's amazing that regardless of where the box is located, we hear, "Oh, we live in a transient culture." I'm like, no, dude, you don't live in a transient culture, or environment. You just aren't good at retaining members.
Well, the other thing, so like I could say that, right? This is a military town. There's 5 bases here. Everybody rotates between every 24 months to 60 months. People rotate, but that's 2 years.
Yeah, and it's also
on the low end, it's 2 years, right?
And it's not every one of your members. You have people that live in Virginia Beach forever, like you.
Right. This has always been something that's been supremely annoying to me. It's just like, the market is saturated. I'm like, A, that's a misunderstanding of what saturation means. Like, not even close. And B, you're not even trying. You're not doing anything. Like, you haven't asked any of the members who are currently at your gym if they know somebody that would like to do CrossFit. Like, we're running Bring a Friend week at the end of the month. Like that's one thing, and we've talked about this before, but like that's one thing every gym should start doing right now, and be prepared to over deliver.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple people that reached out to us after the episode where you talked about it, and they've either run it or are planning to. And the ones that have run it got 5 to 8 new members, just like you suggested.
It's not rocket science. Now, it's also not easy. It's not just like, hey, like you need to put some legs on this thing to do it right. Otherwise, you look like an asshole, right? Like, so you can do anything poorly, and you could run Bring a Friend week really poorly. You know, like, so for instance, we're running ours the 26th through the 30th, 31st of this month. So last week of October. But tomorrow we're going to sit down and we're going to walk through the programming in our weekly staff meeting with me and Cassidy and Lindsay. And then we're going to brief that to the staff next Monday at our monthly staff meeting. And we're going to walk through it and we're going to run through everything. We'll make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted so that when people come in, it's a seamless transition and that we can follow up with them to make sure that we give them what they want moving forward. But no less than 20 people a year we get from that. And it costs me $0 realistically. I'm doing administrative work anyway.
So if people are listening and they think that they're already doing this stuff, they're taking care of their members, what are some do's and don'ts? What are some easy, low-hanging fruit? Like if you're not doing this, you should be, and if you're, if you're doing this, keep doing it type of thing.
So there are some low-hanging fruit. So some of these are easier said than done. And this is, go back and reference some of the podcasts about VAs, and I've talked about this in the past. But if you're a one-man band, it just is what it is. However, this is the fast track to not be a one-man band: is over deliver, take care of people, and you will grow faster than you could possibly manage. So number one is you should know when everybody's birthdays and gym anniversaries are. And you can pull I don't care what system you use, that's pretty easy information to pull. So you can pull a dashboard, something like that, and just literally mail them. Don't email them, text them. You can do that too, but they should get a postcard in the mail. Go to
a nice CrossFit Rife postcard that says it's your birthday.
Right, like these, right? Go to Vistaprint and print 5,000 of these things for.
Well, that looks like the same logo that my beanie is going to have. Where's my beanie? Is it coming?
It's right here. It's in the mail. It's right here. It's in the mail.
Perfect.
Like that stuff is super cheap. You can get like literally hundreds of those for $50, and Vistaprint has like endless amounts of coupons floating around in the interwebs.
Just Google Vistaprint coupon and you'll get.
Or if you don't have Honey, if you don't have Honey installed on your computer, that'll give you all discounts. Do that. But so those are two easy ones, right? Send them a card.
That's super low hanging fruit too, and people love that. People love that.
So now so there are some things. So I used to do cards with envelopes. That can get a little tedious, right? It's just like I gotta have the card and then I gotta have the envelope and then I gotta do that. So I just recently transitioned to postcards, way easier. And then postage, that becomes really annoying. Stamps.com. I never go to the post office anymore to buy stamps anymore. I just literally print all that shit out at the office and I'm done. And then I just literally, and I don't even go to the post office. I just do them at the office and then I go home and I slap them in my mailbox. And you can print return labels and all that stuff too. So very, 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 very cost-friendly way to communicate with your members. And people appreciate the number of people that have been like, thanks for the card, dude. Like genuinely appreciated getting a card in the mail, because nobody does that shit anymore. Right. So there's one. Then the other one is, and we saw this a lot in Raleigh, and I stole the idea, and we've kind of toyed around with this, like reward people for basically good behavior. So 16 times a month, we do a raffle. We call it Committed Club. So I look at all those people that do that. We do a raffle, and then we do a bigger raffle for the quarter for everybody who's in that quarter, and then we do a bigger raffle for the year for everybody that was in every month for the year, 16 times or more.
That's really smart, because you've kind of already pinpointed that 16 is a magic number. So you're kind of probably tricking the people that are somewhere around 10 to 15 classes to get those extra classes in, which proves to keep them longer.
Well, so it's also not by accident, right? So if you want to go back and look at like, okay, well, how'd you come up with this? So there's a couple of things. There's just some psychology stuff behind this and just business stuff, but also go back and reference the podcast with Yuri Fato and the data with regard to injuries in there is they say people that are there less than 3 times a week are, with the exception of that age group, like 20 to 25, they're just invincible. It's really hard to break them. They're like kids. The injury rates for people that are there less than 3 times a week are like 250 to 300% higher. And we also know that those people, we also know that, so if you're there 3 times a week, you're less likely to get injured. We also know that if you're there 3 times a week or more, you're at a significant advantage to achieve whatever result you came in there to try to get. We just know that from like working with clients. So we're like, all those people get what they want at the end. So I'm driving everybody to the marker that has already been established for success for them, not for me.
Right. So tell me about the prizes you give out monthly, quarterly, and yearly.
So the 2 monthly and quarterly, they're the same. One's just bigger than the other one. So I give away, and we used to do this a different way with like a goals board, but that kind of didn't work. It was like really hard to get people to do that. So we give away a gift card, and I give them $100 to either Rogue, Reebok, or Lululemon, just because it's easy, right?
Monthly, every month you do that.
Every month I do that, and then
which by the way is a write-off.
Yeah, it's a marketing expense,
right? Yeah.
And if you don't have an accountant, inside tax. There's a lot of plugs on this show, by the way.
Yeah, we should get sponsored.
So and then the quarterly one is just a bigger one. That one's it's either, I don't remember, it's 150, $200, but something like that. So that one goes out once every 3 months. We do that. And then the yearly one we will do at the end of the year party, which is one of the other things, right? Which is social events can be really hard to do. Put 1 to 2 on the calendar that you do every year. So we're going to double up. So in November, we're doing our anniversary for the gym and the holiday party. And those are going to be like, it's like a double whammy. And
we're going to calling it a COVID party?
Yeah. We're going to be licking each other's faces and it's going to be great. By the way, I was just in Charleston. COVID does not exist in Charleston, South Carolina. Nobody there cares.
It's funny because I told you when I was in Kansas for the games, it definitely does not exist there.
Yeah, it's great.
And the irony is, the places where it doesn't exist are typically the least healthy places in the country.
They're immune, I guess. They're like, I've got all the other chronic diseases.
So you give it away. You give $100 away monthly. An additional, so is it another 100 every quarter on top of that month?
150. So 1 month I'll do like $350 worth of gift cards.
Because you do the month plus the quarterly,
yeah.
So for someone to make it into that, do they have to do 16 every month for that quarter?
Correct.
So seemingly, the number of people that are potentially winners, right?
It shrinks down. Yeah.
You're really getting your cream in the crop. So you're also giving money or a prize to your best supporting members as well.
Right.
So you were saying, where did that play into the party?
So then we're going to give away the bigger one for the year at the party, because we're going to give some other gag gifts and other like silly things at the party, which was where I was going, is like do 1 or 2 events and make them legit events. Don't just be like, hey, we're meeting at a bar or we're going to go to the park. Like invite people. So like here, we just kind of got finished doing most of
and what's the prize going to be for the annual one? Sorry,
we haven't decided yet. It'll be something significant. It'll probably be like $300 to $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's great. Yeah. And going off what you said about the party, the last 2 years that I owned Albany CrossFit, we had a formal, like a legit rented a banquet hall. We charged per ticket, no different than like your prom or if you went to college and you did a formal type thing.
What'd you charge for that?
I mean, whatever. We weren't making money on it. It wasn't like that. It was like maybe
just like $5.
No. It was like 80 a person, something like.
Oh, really?
Because it was catered, DJ, open bar, like legit. It's like if you went to a wedding, whatever the cost would be. Point is, we weren't making money on top of that. And then we gave out. So we gave out Rookie of the Year. I'm trying to think we gave out a Rookie of the Year.
I'm doing that too.
You writing that down? Rookie of the Year.
Mark that on your calendars, everybody. Jay had an idea that was not stupid.
Starting now. member of the year. There was a couple. I'd have to look what the other, and like what, there's like tons of places you can go online, like trophy, whatever. Like we give
Yeah,
out
right.
legit, like, and then
Super silly
we
shit. The
also,
point is to have a good time and
wait,
reward
let me
people.
tell you
Yeah.
let me tell you the coolest one. So
Okay.
then we had a Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
How do you
typically,
get in the Hall of Fame?
I think we only did 2 years of this. So I got to go back and look who won these. They're probably on the Albany CrossFit YouTube channel, but the Hall of Fame was like, so say this party was like 2012, 2013, and I had been open like 5 or 6 years at that point. I think, for example, a close friend, her name's Laura Mirkovic. Um, she won. She was inducted one of the first years, and she was like one of my very first members. And
Yeah.
then this other guy, Pat, who wound up. So the first couple ones were like your original members that kind of became the coaching staff over the years. So, like, for example, in your Hall of Fame, if you were running this, you'd probably want to include I would include like Jess and Cassidy, and then like one original member.
Got it.
Jess being your wife, Cassidy,
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't
So
want it to be only coaches.
So yeah, no. So actually, so one of the things we are going to do, and I think I briefly mentioned this on a previous podcast, but we had tragically a member pass away, like
Right, like an honor, yeah.
I forget when it was, but we're gonna do so now every year we're gonna do the Susan Davis Award, and it's basically like the person who is just like just a good human being, and we're gonna do male female award for that. So
Yeah, and all these were male female, right? And we had
yeah,
2 locations at this point, so there was, the awards were growing, but it was cool. And then like I had the different coaches present the different awards. It was a really fun time. I'll find some of the videos.
that's cool. Yeah, so stuff like that, right? And when you do that, when you do an event, it should be a legit event. People should get invited. Like we're gonna mail invites and have people RSVP. So
That's cool. We
yeah.
didn't do, yeah, that's
And
a
so
good idea.
we were gonna do it out in town, but like you just can't do that because it's probably gonna be 150 to 200 people, like including plus ones, So
Right.
so we're gonna do it here, and then obviously Phil, who is my weightlifting coach, he's in a band, so they're gonna play. We're gonna have like a photo booth. But anyway, do stuff like that, right? To like make people feel part of the community, not just be like, take care of people and stop just using the word community. Like you should actually have a community where people are like legit proud. And I don't mean they're just like, I go to that gym. They're just like, this is the best group of human beings that you could find anywhere. Like that's what you're trying to build.
Especially this time in the world.
Right. That's my point. And there's just people are just worried about running ads. And I'm like, no, dude, like people want your help and people want to be helped. And if you just help people, they're going to come beating your door down and you don't have to do shit in order for that to happen. Stop running ads, stop worrying about your marketing plan, all the other shit, because there's a lot of other things that need it. It's again, order of operations matters. If these things are not ironed out, it doesn't matter how good your marketing plan is. They're just going to fall through the cracks.
You know what this reminds me of, and you're probably going to want to know two really awesome ideas in one podcast, but this reminds me very much of mechanics, consistency, intensity.
Right.
They're not doing mechanics or consistency. They're just jumping to the intensity. And what happens? You get hurt, you lose you don't wind up maximizing your fitness. You push members away. So you gotta, the mechanics is the community, then consistency in that community, then marketing. So maybe it's,
right.
Community, consistency, marketing, or whatever you want to call it. But I agree. I don't know how we got there from Fran, but I do agree with you. Was that just your way of, you wanted to brag about your 304?
It wasn't,
Fran?
no, it wasn't about Fran. So where I was going with it was,
you wanted to talk about your 55-year-old client.
We did Fran, which led me into the fact I was like, oh, like I'm doing okay, which was a conversation I'd had with a client the day before who really just wanted to be taken care of. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's all the dude wanted. He was like, I'm retired. I sold my business. My body hurts. I just want to be able to train and have a good time again. I want to go fishing when I want to go fishing. I want to chase my boys around when they're in college. And I was like, cool, we can do that, dude. Like that's easy. And
by the way, I'm going to be 60 when my daughter goes to college. If she's smart enough to go to college.
No, I'm definitely going to be, they're going to be like, oh, your grandpa brought you to college. I'm going to be like, Shut your mouth, kid.
I'm gonna be like, take me to the party. Let's have some Mad Dogs and do
So
a ice flat shots.
that's really kind of been something on my mind, which has a lot to do with some projects that you and I are working on too. But
Oh, I can't wait for those. We got some big
yeah,
news. Yeah, big stuff
yeah.
coming.
So,
So
but
but I
that's
wanna
part of the thing. That's part of the things we'll be helping people with is just like you're focusing on the wrong shit, which is not actually going to help you. You do need that aspect, right? But it's like, don't talk to me about barbell cycling until you can do a deadlift consistently without rounding your back.
So actually, funny you mentioned deadlift because I was going to say today earlier when I thought we were simply talking about Fran, I did a workout that took 17 minutes. It was running, it was rowing and deadlifts today. The deadlifts were getting heavier, and I'm like, when you brought up Fran, I was like, I'd rather do that deadlift workout again. What is it about Fran that strikes fear? Like, there's no, I get a little nervous before every workout because I'm enjoying the competition. I'm enjoying the community that I'm at right now, and I want to beat people. But there's something innate. Like, it doesn't matter if I don't see the whiteboard, that Fran kind of strikes fear in your heart.
I think if you've been doing it long enough, once you get proficient enough at the two movements, thruster and pull up, there's no such thing as slow. Like even slow is still really fast. Like even if I did it really slow and took a break, it would still very, very easily been sub 4.
Slow would be you're breaking the sets of thrusters, and so you're going like 7 7 7
Right.
7 7, right?
Right.
Yeah. But knowing you're slow still means you're going unbroken. There's really no slow thruster or slow pull-ups.
No, and the movements just again, like if you go back to, they just lend themselves to high power outputs, like long range of motion on the thrusters. Again, level 1 material, like they're complementary movements, so there's really no reason to slow down other than just I'm gonna do this slowly, which isn't the intent. But also going back to what I was having the conversation with this client about, which was the longer you do this, you get to choose those days. And today I chose that, even though I wasn't like gonna go full ham sandwich. 3 is still fast, right? And 3 still hurts, and I'm probably not gonna do that tomorrow. Like yesterday and Sunday, I really took it easy. Sunday was just like a moving day. I did an EMOM of deadlift and bench press, like with 135. It was just like, just move. And then I knew Fran was coming. I was like, I'm gonna get after it, douse myself with intensity, and then I'm gonna take a rest day, and then I'm gonna get back on the horse on Thursday.
Well, and not to bring it into CrossFit knowledge right now, but that's really what is overlooked by many people, that idea of relative intensity. We always think about relative intensity as it relates to just whether or not you can do something, not relative to what you actually need that day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and going back to what I said about being, one of the top 99 percentile, think about it.
That makes me a world champion.
You and I, okay, even very casually can do a 5-minute Fran. Easy, any day, blindfolded, blah, blah, blah. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay, so understand where I'm coming from. If you walk down the road, I believe you would pass 99 other people or more before you find another person that can do that at their maximal effort.
I have numerous young team guys in here, spec ops guys, none of which did that today.
Right.
Now,
so
not because I'm fitter. They're
percentile.
probably, now here's the deal. And this is kind of where I was leading to earlier. They're probably fitter than me, right? Like they can go do a bunch of shit that I just have no desire to do. But to say I'm kind of a specialist at that workout at this point. Like I'm efficient with the movements. You're a specialist
at CrossFit workouts.
Right. So
which is a weird thing to say.
Right. I can do that very, very efficiently, but there is carryover there, right? Like for me, I don't have to, like one of them he did 6 minutes. And it was strict pull-ups.
but I'm saying this, if you're listening and you can hit most workouts at your box RX, you're also in the 99th percentile. Now, the difference in that last percent between where I sit and where Matt Frazier sits is light years away.
Yeah, that last 1% is significant.
Correct. It's
like 100%. That last 1% is like 100%.
Right, because you're comparing yourself to grandma down the road and your, old lady couple that I have that live next to me. know what's ironic? When you're a kid, you just like pray for two women to live next door to you and be able to peek in their windows. When was that just me? But now I have that, but they're 70.
Some
So
weird, that was super weird, dude.
when you're a
But
kid in the 80s, 90s, you watch those movies, you want to be able to look in your neighbor's house, see it
do you
naked
watch
lady.
Up All Night with Rhonda Shear?
No, I've never seen that.
What, USA Up All Night? Somebody out there is gonna hit us up on DM and they're like, yes, Rhonda Shear, that she was the best. So
I'll
anyway,
check that out.
yeah, you should. So really where I wanted to go with that is just like take stock in like where your priorities are and what the things you're focused on in your business. And if the majority of your focus is not on your people, you should reevaluate that. It will limit the amount of focus, money, time, resources that you have to put outside of the business. But it's funny how it'll work is you will end up having to refocus on that thing because what taking care of the people in your charge is going to do is lead to a larger influx of new people because everybody wants the good shit.
Well, and I don't think anyone gets involved in CrossFit ownership to be a salesperson. I think it's something you do need and need to develop. But if you think about what Fern is saying, those people are going to bring in members or new members that you don't have to sell to. You're just like, oh, so and so
No,
brought you. You want to give me money? Yes, we want to give you money. Like word of mouth. That's
it's
Coach
not. It's
Glassman
not.
used to say.
It's not a sale. It's easy, right? I'm just telling you what I can do for you. That's it.
Yeah, no, I mean, if a member has brought somebody in, they're ready to give. Coach Glassman used to say, I don't do marketing. I have an army of marketers that work for me, and those are my members.
Mm-hmm.
And right, the better you treat your members, the more likely they are to bring people in.
Yeah. And then once those balls start to roll, and then you can start to put more framework on them, like what's your referral program look like, so that you can tee this up. Because yes, I want to focus right here, but then here's the hard part, which is what it's taken me a really long time to figure out. How do I make that awesome thing intentional and recurring? That's the
But you
hard
gave a
part, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you gave a couple nice tangible examples earlier, and it's the care at the gym. That's what it comes down to.
A lot of little things and some big things, but that's really what it comes down to. But just
It's
see
it
where you're focused your time. You spend a lot of time looking at your Facebook ad metrics, like you're fucking this up.
Yeah, and it would be no different than like, you asking Jess or me asking Roz, hey, like, what keeps you in this marriage? And part of it would be like, well, I'm stuck. But the other part would be like, well,
My
it's
wife, my wife would be like, "It's your facial hair."
that'd be the last thing she said. But it'd be like, oh, it's the way you do this, the way you do that. You do this for the kids. You clean up like it's all these little things that you don't, you can't just show up at home once a week in your life. You love her or your husband and expect to have a healthy relationship, but it's different with your members. You have to be doing the little things every day.
Take it,
So,
bro.
Fern,
So if people have other things that they do, share it with the world. Hit us up. We'll share it. We'll repost it, whatever. But the little things
we've
matter.
been getting tons of DMs, and obviously we try to answer them on here. And as Fern alluded to, we have our biggest project to date. The ETA is probably at this point early to mid-November, maybe for the announcement.
It's for sure before the end of the year, but it's a big project. It's something we've been working on a really, really long time, and something that's super near and dear to both of our hearts, which is like helping gym owners like get their shit together.
Yeah, box owners are going to love it, and obviously we're going to talk about it. But I believe this entire podcast was your way to brag about your 304 Fran. I don't think you really give a shit about member retention or even this 55-year-old member of your box.
What was that guy's name? I don't remember. You know what? I'm not sending you that beanie. That's it. I'm giving it to the next guy. Yeah,
Reebok beanie.
Yeah. I'm giving it to the next guy who rides out in front of the gym on his bike.
Lindsay texted me last week for my address. I assumed that's what she was doing, but then maybe I'm thinking a wedding invitation. I don't know.
Well, no, she was sending some stuff out, so she sent. Oh, this will not go out on that day, but big shout out to the Chuck Carswell. Today is his birthday. But where I was going with that,
2 days late.
Yeah, so it'll be 2 days late. But she was texting you because she was sending him some stuff that we have as well for his birthday. But then she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna send Jay some stuff." I was like, I'll take care of it because I got to send him some other shit that I was supposed to send him 8 months ago too. So
Oh, so she was gonna send me the beanie and you stopped her.
yeah, I was like, don't do it.
I really want to wear that beanie. It's not
Well,
even
here's the deal.
like
So I have all of your things, right? And you're like, oh, you don't have them. I'm like, no, I do have them. They're right here. So you
well, the
have
last time we talked about it, you couldn't find them.
your beanie. No, they've been sitting on my desk the whole time. So beanie, patch,
Oh, patch.
and then 2 coins.
Yeah.
So
How you
given
just
to
told me you
us.
have stamps.com. Like just put a stamp on it and
I need a
send it out.
package. I need a package now. I don't have it. I don't have packages.com, but I'm gonna buy that domain now.
Package. I think that exists, and I don't think it has anything to do with stamps.
Probably.
Packages.com.
But yeah,
All right.
this is super important, particularly now. Everybody will get a little downtime during the holidays, I think. So rethink this so you can get a little bit of a running start. Right now is a pretty decent runway to get into the new year to start working on this stuff. So, because it will take you a while to put some legs on some of these things and figure out the processes so that you can do them on a regular, recurring basis. If you have questions, hit us up. More than happy to share the goods.
All right. You heard it from Fern. 16-8.
16-8.
Thanks again for listening to Best Hour of Their Day. If you haven't already, do us a favor, head over to the Apple Podcast app and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback for either Fern or myself. Hit us up, besthouroftheirday@gmail.com, or send us a DM over on Instagram at Best Hour of Their Day. Once again, we couldn't do this without the amazing community, and you are a part of it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting Best Hour of Their Day.